Why most people struggle to live past 70. 5. Surprising reasons that silently shorten lifespan, especially the fifth. Many believe that what happens after age 70 is just about genetics or luck, but that's not the whole story. In this video, we'll explore 5 surprising, often overlooked reasons that explain why many older adults struggle to live long or maintain health past 70. These aren't the usual culprits like diet, smoking, or exercise. These are deeper, subtler factors often missed even by those doing most things right. The good news: once you understand these factors, you can take action to improve. So, if you've ever wondered what really holds back longevity after 70 and how to prevent it while there's still time, stick with us until the end. These 5 unexpected reasons could change how you age before it's too late. Let's dive in. Reason 1. Losing small social interactions. One of the first and often overlooked reasons many don't live long past 70 is the quiet disappearance of what experts call small social interactions. These aren't deep friendships or big family gatherings. Those are important, of course, but the tiny, seemingly insignificant moments that once filled your day without you noticing. Think about how often you've greeted the mail carrier, shared a quick joke with a grocery store cashier, or nodded to a neighbor walking their dog across the street. Those brief human connections don't just feel nice. They regulate your nervous system, reinforce a sense of community, and keep your brain's social network sharp and active. After 70, many older adults stop running errands themselves. They order online or rely on family for help. They stop chatting with strangers because their hearing isn't what it used to be, or they avoid walks because the weather's chilly or their knees feel unsteady. As these small social touch points fade, something else loses vitality. Most people don't even realize it's happening. They think they're just simplifying life, but they're unintentionally cutting out interactions that stimulate brain function, boost mood, and signal to the body that it's still part of a vibrant world. It doesn't have to be complex. I know men in their 70s who stay sharp simply because they walk to the same local coffee shop every morning, greet the same barista, and nod to the same 3 people on the corner. Those 5 minutes of human connection aren't just a habit. They're a lifeline. They shape their day, give them purpose, and make them feel seen. There's a biological cost when these moments disappear. The brain treats both deep and subtle loneliness as stress, altering hormone levels, increasing inflammation, and weakening immunity. More critically, it shrinks neural networks responsible for memory, attention, and emotional regulation. Simply put, it makes you feel older faster. So, if you notice you're not talking to people as much during the day, or you've stopped running errands, chatting with strangers, or feeling visible in your community, it's time to change. Those fleeting connections, however small, quietly tell your brain and body you still matter, you're still part of something. That message is one of the most powerful medicines for sustaining life, not just in years, but in spirit. Reason 2. Reduced movement due to overcaution. Another silent reason many don't live long past 70 is something that seems like wisdom at first glance: caution. But there's a fine line between being careful and becoming overly cautious, and crossing it has consequences that rarely show up immediately but always build over time. It often starts with good intentions. Maybe you slipped on stairs once or nearly lost balance on a sidewalk, so you cut back on outdoor walks. You stop bending to grab items from low shelves, or climbing into the back seat of a car. You sit more and you sit longer. Those around you praise your caution. Don't overdo it, they say. Take it easy. But before you know it, you've created a safe but sedentary life. Here's what no one tells you when movement stops. Strength fades not just in your legs or arms, but in your coordination, balance, and internal stability. Your body isn't a machine that rests to stay efficient. It's a garden that needs tending. When activity slows to a trickle, everything doesn't just pause, it weakens. One of the first places this shows up is in your core muscles. Most people don't realize how vital deep core muscles are for standing, walking, lifting, or even getting up from a chair. If unused even for a few weeks, they atrophy. When they weaken, your balance falters. You start to wobble, and the downward spiral deepens. I know a man, John, aged 72, who stopped his evening walks after slipping once on a rainy day. No broken bones, just a scare. But that scare was enough to change things. He went from walking a mile every evening to watching TV most nights. Within 6 months, he lost 5 pounds of muscle. His legs felt unsteady, and his doctor warned him, but the damage had started. He grew weaker because he stopped. I'm not saying to ignore real risks. There are smart ways to protect yourself. Use handrails, wear sturdy shoes, clear walkways, or use a cane if needed. But there's a difference between managing risk and surrendering to it. If you're moving less, not because you physically can't, but because you're afraid of what might happen, pay attention. Ask yourself, am I protecting myself, or am I slowly fading away? Surviving past 80 isn't just about not falling. It's about keeping moving, even if it's more careful, slower, or intentional. Movement reminds your body it's still needed, keeps your systems running, your brain alert, and your heart beating with purpose. If you're finding this information helpful, please comment 2 below to let me know you're following along. If you haven't subscribed, I recommend subscribing and turning on notifications to stay updated. Your support helps us create high-quality content to inspire and inform you. Reason 3, disrupted sleep cycles. Due to irregular light exposure, there's a silent clock in your body not ticking, but controlling nearly everything: your mood, metabolism, immunity, even how your brain repairs itself at night. After 70, this internal clock, your circadian rhythm becomes especially sensitive. A major reason it gets thrown off is insufficient daylight exposure and too much artificial light at night. You might not notice at first. Maybe you nap more during the day under afternoon sunlight, or you don't go outside as often, especially in colder months. Perhaps you keep the TV on late or leave lights on while reading or watching movies. Each change seems harmless, but together they quietly confuse your body about when to be alert and when to rest. Your body relies on natural light to maintain its rhythm. Bright morning light signals your brain to wake up, move, and direct energy where it's needed. Evening darkness triggers melatonin release for deep restorative sleep. But when your eyes miss daytime light or get too much artificial light at night from screens or lamps, those signals get scrambled. The result: you might struggle to fall asleep or stay asleep. You may wake up tired even after 8 hours in bed. You could feel less energy during the day or notice your memory is slightly fuzzier. Over time, disrupted sleep weakens immunity, destabilizes mood, and increases the risk of cognitive decline. Plus, there's the issue of vitamin D, which your skin produces from sunlight. After 70, your ability to synthesize vitamin D decreases, making regular outdoor time more critical than ever. Without it, your bones, muscles, and immunity suffer. I spoke with a woman, Mary, aged 74, who felt increasingly tired and disoriented. Her blood tests were normal, her diet unchanged, and she wasn't on new medications. The key: her doctor suggested spending 20 minutes each morning by an open window with curtains wide open and turning off screens an hour before bed. Within 2 weeks, her sleep improved, her memory sharpened, and her mood lifted. No new drugs, just light. If you spend most of your time indoors with curtains drawn, or your evenings are filled with blue light from phones or TVs, it's time to change. Try getting outside within an hour of waking, even for a few minutes on the porch. Let your eyes and skin soak up morning light. At night, dim the lights to prepare your body for rest. These gentle rhythms aren't just comfort, they're survival. Your body doesn't just age from wear and tear, it ages from disorganization, from systems falling out of sync. Restore light signals, sleep schedules, and daily rhythms to bring back that organization. Reason 4. Suppressed emotions from loss and isolation. By age 70, many have faced more loss than most younger people can imagine: a spouse, sibling, lifelong friend, or even a child. While the world may offer polite sympathy, what's rarely acknowledged is how these losses accumulate, not just in memory, but in the body. What often happens after 70 isn't just grief, it's suppressed emotion, the quiet habit of swallowing pain instead of expressing it. Maintaining a brave face because you feel you should be used to it, or because no one truly understands the depth of your loss. But your body doesn't forget. When sadness isn't processed, spoken, shared, or fully felt, it doesn't vanish, it's stored. Over time, that emotional weight becomes physical, affecting your immune system, digestion, and sleep. It alters hormones, putting your nervous system in a state of silent, constant stress. The hardest part: it happens quietly. You may look calm, even say you're fine, but if your steps feel heavier, your breath shallower, or your spark has dimmed just enough to feel unlike yourself, unprocessed sadness could be the cause, even if you haven't spoken of it in years. I remember a man, Robert, aged 76, who lost his wife of 50 years. He didn't cry much, saying it wasn't his way, insisting he was okay. But within a year, he lost weight, stopped attending his senior center, and struggled to sleep, not from illness, but from a body carrying unexpressed grief. Emotional pain doesn't need to be dramatic to harm, and when it shows up in health, the connection isn't always clear. What keeps people thriving past 70 isn't just physical strength, it's emotional openness, having safe outlets for sadness, fear, or longing. It's saying, I miss her, I'm still angry, or I feel lonely, without judgment. Those who live long often have an outlet, a trusted friend, a journal, a faith, a community group, or even a therapist to unpack decades of stories. The principle is the same: what's expressed can transform. What's buried quietly undermines. If you're holding on to something not because you want to, but because you don't know where to put it, make space for it. This isn't just about emotions. It's about your life. If you're finding this helpful, comment 4 below to let me know. If you haven't subscribed, I recommend subscribing and turning on notifications. Your support helps us create quality content to inform and inspire you. Reason 5. Losing daily purpose. One of the most invisible reasons many don't thrive past 70 is the slow erosion of something we often take for granted until it's gone: daily purpose. Not a grand philosophical purpose, but the simple kind that gets you out of bed each morning with something to do, somewhere to go, or someone to meet. It could be watering plants before the sun gets too hot, feeding the neighbor's cat, writing a letter to a granddaughter, or fixing a gate hinge. When these small habits slip away, when mornings arrive without a reason to get up, and evenings pass without something to reflect on, something inside quietly closes. Your body listens to your mind. When your mind sees no reason to move forward, your body follows. Appetite wanes, movement slows, and without purpose, the systems that regulate your health grow silent, not because they're broken, but because they're waiting for a reason to restart. This is easy to miss because it happens gradually. Maybe your weekly card game gets canceled, your friend group stops meeting, family visits less, or an old volunteer role ends when your knees start aching. You tell yourself it's normal part of aging, but deep down, you feel days passing, each quieter than the last. I met a woman, Susan, aged 88, who seemed more alive than people half her age. She wasn't wealthy, didn't have perfect health, and wasn't surrounded by a large family. But she had one thing that never left her routine. Every Monday she wrote postcards to neighbors. Thursdays she made soup and froze it for a local food pantry. Every day at 4 p.m. she sat by her window to watch kids walk home from school, knowing their names and waving as they waved back. It wasn't glamorous, but it gave her day's structure, her heart rhythm, her life continuity. The secret no one tells you is that your body keeps living when it feels needed. Purpose, however small, is fuel. It tells your cells to keep repairing your organs, to keep functioning your brain, to keep learning. If you feel a bit lost, like your days have lost shape or meaning, don't ignore it. That's not just sadness. It's your body asking for rhythm, structure, connection, purpose. Ultimately, longevity isn't just about a beating heart. It's about a heart that wants to beat. Final thoughts. As this video wraps up, I want to leave you with a simple but profound truth. Most people don't decline after 70 because of one moment, a diagnosis, a fall, or a birthday. It's the slow, gradual fading of habits, rhythms, and reasons to stay engaged. These changes are often so subtle you don't notice until something inside feels dimmer. But just as these changes happen slowly, they can be reversed slowly. One walk outside, one extra chat at the store, one small stretch in the morning, one task you do today, not because you have to, but because it brings structure, connection, or meaning. That's how change begins. Reflect on these 5 reasons. Which surprised you most? Which felt familiar? Maybe uncomfortably so. Most importantly, which are you ready to act on even in a small way today? You have more power than you think, not to stop aging, but to change how you age. If you're willing to listen to these quiet shifts, protect your rhythms, your purpose, and let yourself feel what needs to be felt, you might not only reach 70, you'll live beyond it, fully and deeply in your own way. Thank you for joining us today. We'd love to hear from you. Comment below with one thing you learned and how you plan to use it. Your feedback matters to us, so don't hesitate to share. Reading your comments motivates and inspires us. Foods that boost blood circulation at age 60 and naturally improve intimacy. What if the real reason your intimacy is fading has nothing to do with age? What if it's not your fault at all, but something far easier to address than you've been led to believe? For millions of men over 60, the silent decline in circulation, confidence, and connection isn't random. It's the result of a hidden metabolic shift that most doctors overlook but can be reversed. In fact, a simple, affordable, often forgotten food could be the key to restoring the spark you thought was gone forever. I'm Dr. Michael Chen, and for over 3 decades, I've worked with men in their 60s, 70s, and beyond, helping them regain energy, rebuild strength, and revive intimacy without drugs or risky procedures. The problem isn't age, it's what's happening in your blood vessels, and the solution is closer than you think. Here's the surprising truth: declining circulation, weaker erections, and even lower testosterone aren't inevitable. They stem from a cause we now understand and can fight. The answer isn't in the pharmacy, it's in nutrient-rich foods your body still craves. In this video, I'll share 6 breakthrough steps every man over 60 needs to know, including a powerful food proven to reverse poor circulation and naturally reignite intimacy. Stay with me, because in just a moment, you'll understand why this small change can make a big difference in how you feel and connect. Before we start, if you're a man over 60 wanting to feel stronger, more energized, and more confident, hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications. I share weekly tips designed to help you restore vitality naturally. If this topic resonates, type 1 in the comments. If not, type 0. Your feedback helps me create better videos for you. Step 1. The real reason. Circulation declines. After 60, and why it affects intimacy. When men come to my clinic frustrated by changes like slower arousal, weaker erections, or low desire, they almost always assume it's just aging. But here's the truth. I share with them, and now with you. It's not age, it's your circulation. Specifically, it's the inner lining of your blood vessels, called the endothelium, not working as well as it used to. The endothelium produces a powerful molecule called nitric oxide, which relaxes and widens blood vessels, allowing blood to flow freely, including to the areas most critical for intimacy. As we age, stress, poor diet, inactivity, and inflammation weaken these vessels. They stiffen, narrow, and produce less nitric oxide. The result: blood flow slows, impacting physical performance and connection. I say this not just as a doctor, but from countless private conversations with men who feel embarrassed, even desperate. They tell me, "Dr. Chen, I don't feel like myself anymore," or "I want to be close to my wife, but my body won't cooperate." I get it. When blood doesn't flow properly, it affects not just your body, but your confidence, identity, and relationships. The good news: endothelial dysfunction isn't permanent, and you don't need lifelong drugs to fix it. By restoring nitric oxide production and supporting blood vessels through food movement and the right habits, we see remarkable improvements, not just in blood pressure or cholesterol, but in energy, confidence, and intimacy. Step 2. Why pills fail, but nature succeeds. One of the first questions men ask me, often in a hushed tone, is, "Dr. Chen, should I try those blue or red pills I understand?" When things don't work like they used to, we want a quick fix. Something promising, results without questions. Those pills can work temporarily, but they're not a solution. They're a crutch, a short-term boost that doesn't fix the root issue. If your blood vessels are stiff-clogged or underperforming, a pill forcing blood flow won't address the core problem. In fact, the more you rely on it, the less your body tries to do the work itself. Then one day, the pill stops working, and that's a heartbreaking moment. I've seen men cry in my clinic, not from anger, but from feeling betrayed by their bodies. But I've also seen something far more encouraging: what happens when men choose a different path. When they nourish their bodies with nutrients that rebuild blood vessels, support testosterone, and restore energy from within. They don't just get a temporary boost, they feel alive again, Their skin glows, their eyes brighten, their partners notice, and best of all, it's real. It's their body working as designed. That's why I tell patients, don't settle for artificial stimulation when your body can still do it naturally. Step 3. The forgotten superfood that rebuilds circulation and testosterone. The most powerful solutions are often the ones we overlook longest. The best food for restoring circulation, rebuilding testosterone, and reviving male vitality isn't exotic or found in a pharmacy. In fact, your grandfather probably ate it regularly, and your body might be craving it now. That food is grass-fed beef liver. I know what you're thinking. Liver, really? I get it. For many, it brings back childhood memories of being forced to eat it, or it just doesn't sound appealing. But let me share something personal. I've had patients in their late 60s and early 80s come back to me amazed after adding liver to their diet just once or twice a week. They say things like, "Dr. Chen, I didn't expect much, but I feel like I've woken up," or "My energy's back," and my wife noticed. That's because liver isn't just protein, it's concentrated nutrition for men. Grass-fed beef liver is packed with essential nutrients that directly support your circulatory and endocrine systems. Iron for red blood cells, vitamin B12 and folate for energy and brain function, zinc and vitamin A for testosterone production, and leucine and CoQ10 for blood vessel repair and oxygen delivery to critical areas. This isn't theory, it's biology. When you nourish your body with what it needs, not synthetic substitutes but dense ancestral nutrition, you allow it to heal and perform again. You're not just feeding muscles or hormones, you're waking up the systems that support intimacy, drive, and energy. Best of all, you don't need to eat it daily. Just a few servings a week or high-quality liver capsules can make a significant difference. Step 4. What science says about liver circulation and intimacy. When I first recommended grass-fed beef liver, some patients looked at me like I was crazy. Liver, that old-fashioned food. But after a few weeks, many returned with stories I'll never tire of hearing. I feel stronger. My energy's steady again. Things are working better in the bedroom, and it's not just anecdotal. It's backed by real science. Liver's power comes from its combination of nutrients, vitamin B12 for red blood cell production and oxygen transport, heme iron for energy and oxygenation, zinc for testosterone production, vitamin A for hormone balance and immunity, leucine for muscle protein synthesis and blood vessel repair, and CoQ10 for mitochondrial energy supporting heart function and circulation. Studies in journals like the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition confirm that older adults consuming nutrient-dense foods like these show improved vascular health, muscle function, and hormone balance. Liver isn't just an ancient remedy, it delivers modern results. That's why I call it the forgotten superfood. Step 5. What happens when you start eating this food? One of my favorite moments as a doctor is when a patient walks in, sits down, and says, "Dr. Chen, I didn't think it would work, but something's definitely happening." They smile, broader speak with new energy, and have a spark that wasn't there before. That's when I know their body is waking up often from something as simple as eating beef liver once or twice a week. Within 2 to 3 weeks, most men notice subtle but clear changes, more energy in the morning, less afternoon fatigue, sharper mental clarity, and easier movement. Most importantly, something shifts beneath the surface, improved blood flow, returning desire, and rebuilding confidence. They feel like themselves again, flirting with their spouse like old times, initiating intimacy, not from pressure, but genuine excitement. That's the power of restoring circulation and hormones from within, not just better performance, but reclaiming a part of your identity that may have quietly slipped away. Step 6. The catch. You might be thinking, if beef liver is so powerful, why isn't every man over 60 eating it? The truth is, most don't know what it can do, or they try it once, dislike the taste, and give up. Here's the catch, and I'll be straight with you. None of this works without consistency. You can't eat one piece of liver or pop a capsule and expect decades of poor circulation or low testosterone to reverse overnight. Your body responds to patterns, habits, small, powerful choices made day after day. I've seen hundreds of men stick with it, refusing to let old habits or short-term thinking steal the energy and intimacy they deserve. After 30 days, some look 10 years younger, not from anything flashy, but because their systems finally got what they needed: better sleep, better mood, better mornings, and feeling like men again, alive, connected, confident. Conclusion: it's never too late to reclaim strength, energy, and intimacy. After working with thousands of men over 30 years, I can say with absolute certainty, age isn't your enemy. The real threat is believing decline is inevitable. Once you understand what's happening, poor circulation, hormonal shifts, nutrient deficiencies, you have the power to change it. It doesn't take a miracle, just consistent, smart steps. We've discussed how poor circulation is often the root of intimacy decline, why pills are temporary, and how grass-fed beef liver, a humble natural food, can restore circulation energy and testosterone when used right. Results come from action over time, not one meal. You deserve to feel strong, connected, and yourself again. Don't wait, start today. Your next chapter can be stronger than the last, and it begins with one small step. If this resonates, comment below and connect. There's more I want to share. The best is still ahead. If you found this video helpful, hit like, share it with a friend or loved one, and comment below. I read every comment, and your feedback shapes future videos.